I'm Dr. Becky, and this is Good Inside.
I think that it is really helpful to think that he's 180 degrees in the opposite direction. I think that I've known that the way he is super important in the world, is valuable. You need people who don't seek social validation and who work best alone. And yet, respecting all that, I can't let go of the belief that the world, and especially this culture, is built in a lot of ways for extroverts, more and more in school, group projects, and that part of my job is not to put my way of being on him. And a hard thing to remember is what gives me joy will not give him joy. He might be much happier on the playground sitting and talking to a teacher or watching than going to find other friends if his best friend's not there. But I know I have to help him not stay limited within that. And he is a kid who knows himself so well.
Yep.
And when he learned the word introvert, he grabbed onto it. And I don't want him to be limiting himself because of what makes him feel safe, even though I know it makes him feel happy in a way it would not make me feel happy.
And I totally understand that. And I'm a pragmatist too. And I get that. It's like, okay, yeah, there's many ways of being in the world, but maybe our world really does reward people who can develop many social relationships or do speak up for themselves. So here's what I'm going to say about that. That may be true. I don't know. Like, I haven't done the sociological studies. I haven't, definitely haven't surveyed enough people. But let's just assume that's true, because that's the fear that would make us want to shift something a little bit in our kid, right? So that's the fear. So let's address that. Even if that's true, right? Even if the world does reward people like that, one of the things that I think about your son is how much he's going to need support to navigate the world, not being the type of person who fits so easily into a world that rewards socialization and being outgoing. Like, how almost even more important it is for him to have a secure base, if you will, to come back to and feel quote, normal in that space, to feel loved, to feel accepted. Because I always think about this with regard to like exploration, because what you're saying is you, Miranda, like you're an explorer, like you like to go out, you like to go meet and like talk to different people, right? You explore, and your son like has this base and he's like, I don't like to stray too far from the base. I have my base, like here I am. Like I know there's stuff out there not for me, right? And the big irony, I think, around this is the more secure we feel in our base, the more open we are over time to exploration, right? Because exploring away from our base comes from the belief that I could always go back to my base and there'll be people there. And no matter what happens out there in the world, I can kind of recharge. I can like recharge in my home. And so if I make this more concrete, I think about the difference between saying, hey, who did you play with recess today? Which I think our kids also know. And I've said this too to my less extroverted child. Like my kid knows, like my mom just wants to know if I made a new friend. Like stop saying it like that. Like I get it. Okay. I know what you're really asking me. You're not so, so suave there. So they know that. So instead of basically saying, so did you make a new friend today? I wonder what would happen if you said something like, tell me about the part of school, that was, the most fun. What did you like most at school today? Or I wonder if you did any interesting, experiments with colors today. Something totally different, right? And then if I think about him building safety and kind of building up his confidence, I think that comes less from moments of, hey, it might be a good idea to make some other friends. There's a lot of nice kids in your grade. We should really do that. And more from, you seem to feel really, really good with your best friend. I get that. And look, it's tricky because it's so nice to have a best friend. It can also be really nice to have other people we over time feel comfortable with. And you know what? I guess the truth is you're the only one who's going to really figure out that balance. And what I can tell you is I'll be here for you in every moment that you do.
Parenting is the hardest and most important job in the world. And parents deserve resources and support so they feel empowered, confident, and connected. I'm so excited to share Good Inside membership, the first platform that brings together content and experts you trust with a global community of like-valued parents. It's totally game-changing.